So it's Christmas Eve today, and based off the markings of our ewes, the earliest, some of them can start having lambs January 1st. So we need to make sure that we got everything wrapped up here in the barn and are ready for lambing. So last Saturday, me and Rachel went ahead and cleaned out this main ewe pen, pulled the ram out, put him over in his own pen, got this all cleaned out, fresh barn lime and straw down, got it all configured the way we wanted it for lambing. Everybody's set up in there right now, except for those two ewes still over at the bank barn. And we set this pen up the same way this year as we had it last year. That seemed to work really well for us, where we'll put our lambing jugs off this back corner and extend them out up towards this hay feeder. I got plugs over there to where if I need heat lamps, I can access those plugs really easy. We got a table over there to keep some supplies out here. I'm going to put an extra light over there so we have more light this year whenever we're working with the lambs. Also, it's kind of nice because it branches off, and then we're able to kind of start splitting this pen out for ewes with lambs against ewes that haven't had their lambs yet. There's still something that I want to do. I have one 12-foot 2x4 gate built to go in over here. I want to build a second one, and with those 12-foot gates, it'll make it a little bit easier to set up the lambing jugs because I have supports every 4 feet, so it's already a predetermined amount. That's the width and the size of the jugs that we like setting up are 8x4s because those are the gates that we have. It gives us plenty of room in there, and it works for us. And so I think that'd be a little bit easier to hook into, and it would also free up some of these green gates that would be able to use for lambing jugs also. So we ended up doing with the ram, Sparkles here, is we shoved him in this extra pen, and we just actually opened it up. So there's actually 2 hay feeders there in that pen. This is just an extra pen for us. Normally we would have it filled full of feeder lambs feeding out for processing dates in March and the beginning of April, but this year we really don't need that, so we just stuck him over here. We kind of ran short on time when we were cleaning, or else I'd have cleaned out this, but it's really not that bad, and with just having this one ram in here or any 1 or 2 sick that may have to be put over here, it's not going to create that much waste, so it's going to be okay till we can get to it. But we got him separated off over here. It's not too bad. He's not really like by himself. He's about 4 feet away from all the ewes. So he's not too crazy over here, but I ended up having to put some extra gates in just because for the first couple days he was climbing, trying to get back in with the ewes. So the whole reason why we had Sparkles in here with these ewes again is because our Ram Maverick died, and we wanted to make sure that all our ewes got covered. And I was a little concerned just because I was really wanting those 4 registered Suffolk ewes that we had to have been covered by Maverick. That way we'd hopefully be able to get a replacement ram out of one of them. And when we stuck Sparkles in here, I decided, well, leave him in there about 40 days. We'll see if anybody gets marked. We're just kind of hoping. But at the end of the day, a bred ewe is better than one that was open for the year. Well, after about the first week or so, none of the ewes out of Maverick's pen had gotten marked, and they started dropping their bellies a little bit, and you can kind of tell, okay, yeah, they're bred. You can tell because it had been a time period since he had been in with them and marked them originally. Well, right towards the end, after one of these ewes should have cycled twice, one of our commercial Suffolk ewes, she had just a little bit of green crown on her back. I'm not sure if it was just him walking around trying to mount her or what, so we're going to keep an eye on her, but basically, she shouldn't lamb if Sparkles bred her. She shouldn't lamb until almost the beginning of April, where if it was Maverick, it would be in February. So that's also one of the main reasons why we left such a wide space in between the two. So then that way we knew which lambs were out of which ram. Normally, I really like filming when I'm cleaning out the barn because that's one of the jobs here on the farm I really enjoy doing. But this time I skipped it. I filmed it before. This time I just skipped it because I just didn't have the time. It adds about an hour or so just to set up the cameras every time I'm taking a shot and what I'm doing to make sure that I'm not running the camera over. The camera's not in the way of me and the skid steer or Rachel in the tractor with the manure spreader. And just taking that amount of time, we decided we were just trying to get it done basically as fast as we could and as efficiently as we could. So I just decided not to film it this time. But the end result turned out great. These ewes really enjoy it. And also having this clean pen going into lambing makes things really nice. This year, today, it's Christmas Eve, like I said, and it's about 50 degrees out here. So it's not really that big of a deal that we cleaned it all out. But we were lucky we got it out and got it spread when we did. Just because I don't know this winter when we would be able to have the weather to get it spread if we waited any longer. So I've already gotten these guys taken care of this morning. What I want to do next is hook to the stock trailer, go down to the bank barn, and get those 2 other ewes loaded up down there. They've been down there 20 plus days. Plenty of time for a quarantine period. They seem perfectly healthy. I have no concerns there, but I want to get them loaded up and get them back here and in with the rest of the ewes. Like I said, it's Christmas Eve today, so we got the holidays this weekend, holidays next weekend, and then we'll start lambing. And I just know I'll run out of time and it'll be a hassle to try to move them later, so I just need to get it done today. So I just got over here to the bank barn, and before I go ahead and load those ewes up, I noticed that the cows here are running extremely low on hay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out today, put a new round bale out for them so I don't have to mess with it tomorrow.
Get back, ewes. How'd you get it on your head?
So I got the trailer backed up here to the barn. I got the gates down set up. I don't have to worry about the cows coming down here and bumping one of the gates over because they're up there preoccupied with that new bale. These 2 ewes were extremely easy to handle when we unloaded them out of the back of a popper. So I'm hoping and just kind of assuming that they're going to load on the trailer just as easy. So we'll go ahead and get them loaded up now. I'm going to put them on the front. That way I can load all my gates back up on the back and grab a couple bales of hay to get us through these next couple days so we have some extra on hand at the house.
You guys gonna go for me? Nope. All right. There we go. Whoa. Whoa.
So I got everything locked up here at the bank barn. The cows didn't even leave that round bale feeder, which is good because they weren't down there bothering my gates I had set up. But currently we've been feeding the round bale to these 8 about every 4 to 5 days, just depending on the temperature out. That's about average for us. We've got plenty of hay. We're just really getting started. We've only been putting out bales the last couple weeks. We've had some pasture that they were still able to get to with some stockpile, but once the temperature started getting down, we made sure they had constant access to hay. Well, now I need to get home and get these 2 ewes unloaded. So far so good. These ewes unloaded really easy. They loaded up really easy. Everybody seems to be doing okay with just these 2 new ones in there. I went ahead and loaded everybody's feeder up with hay. Went ahead and took care of them all for the evening. Topped off all their waters and everything. I'll be back in and out of the barn tonight checking on them. But right now I'm just going to leave them alone. They're all just kind of relaxing, getting some hay to eat. We still have a lot to do to get ready for lambing. Like I said, within probably the next 10 days, I need to have everything completely ready to go. Right now, if one of them went ahead and came on that early date of January 1st, I still have enough stuff set up right now to be ready for it, but I know I'm not ready for all of them to start having lambs pretty close to each other. So I'm gonna have to work on a lot of that here to get it all caught up, so that way I'm ahead of the game on it. So the new ewes have integrated in the flock pretty well. Right there, right now, everybody seems to be getting along. There's really no problems. Nobody's keeping them away from feeders or anything like that. So that's good to see that they just basically all blended in together. But I've been watching all these ewes for the last day or so, and one thing I've noticed is that I'm very far behind. Some of these ewes are really starting to develop udders and bag up a lot. So that's one thing I'm really going to need to keep an eye on. And like I said, I'm behind because there's my lambing table with all my supplies on it. And it's just a mess right now that I need to get organized, everything cleaned up, and see what new supplies I need to pick up so that way I'm ready for when lambs come, because a couple of these girls look like they're probably a week or 2 out. So that's something that I need to be ready for. Well, that'll wrap up this video. Thanks for watching.